So writing the equation of a line is pretty straightforward to start with. We have an equation y equals mx plus b. So write this down in your notes. This is called slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. Now, the y and the x stay there. We're not going to do anything with those. Those will have x and y in them. What we want to do is we want to plug in a number for the slope, and we want to plug in a number for the y-intercept. Now sometimes they're as easy as, like, seriously, if they do this to you, you better get it right because there's really no excuse. If they tell you something as simple as the slope is -2 and the y-intercept is 5, then you had better be ready to plug 5 in for m. No, I lied. Sorry, I wasn't paying close enough attention there. Sorry. Slope is -2, so you better be ready to plug in -2 for the slope and 5 for the y-intercept. So then your equation is y equals, instead of m, I'm going to put a -2. I keep the x plus the y-intercept is 5, and this would be your equation. Another thing you can do, or that you'll be asked to do, is what if you're given the graph? It's going to be hard to do here because I don't have grid, but if you're given the graph and you know, okay, let's see here, it crosses here, and then let's see if I can make this obvious. Okay, so let's say that's your graph. Well, your y-intercept is at 1, 2, 3, so I can say y equals the +3 at the end. And then I have to put a number in for slope, and if you can follow this, I tried to make it obvious. So we start here, I go up 1, so that's a +1, and I go to the right 2, so it's a +2. So rise is 1, run is 2, and there's my equation. So it's easy as just identifying that. Sometimes you're going to have a word problem, and what's really important is whatever's at the start of your word problem. So let's say you start with 100 people in a town. Okay, that's going to be, if you start with 100 people in a town, that's going to be the y-intercept, how many you start with. And then let's say every year, so how does it change, is going to be your slope. So let's say every year you increase by 2 people, so that's going to be your slope. The increase by 2, you went up by 2, so you're increasing by 2. So then your equation is going to be y equals, your increase, your slope was 2 people, so 2x, plus you start with 100. Let's say I change it. Let's say you started with 200 people, but instead of increase, you decreased by 2 people. Well, then your equation, if you're decreasing, you're going down, you need that to be negative. And you started at 200, so this needs to be a 200. So that would be your equation for that one. So just think about where you're starting and how is it changing, and that's going to be then your slope.